Unless your seats and lay back, you can low ride.
That don't help.
All right. It being 5 o'clock, we call to order the regular meeting, December 2nd, 2025 of the City Quitman Board of Aldermen. Alderman Wheat, would you lead us in prayer followed by the pledge?
Bow your heads, please. Lord, we thank you for the many blessings you grant us each and every day. We ask that you be with us tonight as we go about the city's business. Grant us wisdom. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Ms. Tammy, will you call the roll and establish the quorum?
Okay. Ms. Monica Fuller. Here. Mr. Steve Neely.
Here.
Mr. Joe Brooks.
Here.
Ms. Bridget Peters. Out. And Mr. Harry Wick. Okay.
All right. So we'll move down to public comments and appearances. And anybody here have anything to bring forth the board that isn't on the agenda?
I'm with Pellet Mill, I didn't know that.
Okay. All right. I didn't know you were with Pellet Mill. Yeah, come on up. You can have the floor.
So, first of all, thank you for having us here. My name's Billy Hayes. I'm actually just recently left Quitman Pellets. I'm still with company, but I'm actually going to other plants, but I was the plant manager for basically the last year at the facility, so I know the facility very well. The process is very well, but I think on the 14th of November, there was a complaint about some fiber that had escaped the property and got onto a vehicle and stuff in the neighborhood. Just to let the board know, let the town know, what had happened was overnight on the 12th into the morning of the 13th, we have cyclones. One of the cyclones, due to some wet material, had bridged. When that cyclone bridged, instead of it dropping down and allowing the material to fall out while the air continues on, then the material was caught in that and was going over and it was blowing out our stack. At night, you can't see it. First thing in the morning when daylight broke, it was seen, it was noticed, and immediately they took action, found out what the problem was, and corrected the issue. We are currently looking at opportunities that, and what it was when it bridged, we have a plug sensor in there, and it bridged above the plug sensor, so the plug sensor was saying it's clear. There was no warning, no indicator. So we're looking at possibly putting one up towards the top. That would give us a second line of defense for something like that to keep that from happening. But with our process and everything else, there are times where something like that could happen. And I've had one incident in the year that I was there. I know a prior experience, it used to be quite bad. But we've done a lot of work to clean that up. And so one incident I had one of the ladies there in the neighborhood that come up to me, come and spoke with me, and told me what the issue was. We actually had a team go down there that evening and cleaned off her front porch, cleaned off her, where her kid had a trampoline in the backyard, cleaned the trampoline off and do all those kind of things. If we have an issue like that, please come to us. Sometimes it's not noticeable. When you have fire, it's noticeable. But in the dark, you can have something that's not noticeable, and we find out about it the next morning or whatever. We want to be good neighbors. We'll be more than happy to help accommodate. We have a detail guy right here in the neighborhood. I personally use him. He does a great job. We would pay for any cars to be detailed out that had that issue. If we need to go clean up any yards or whatever the case is, we will be good neighbors. And I think we have proven that over this past year and a half, as we've made a lot of improvements on the facility. Yeah. And those issues that were in the past are very few and far between. With our line of work, though, it still can happen from time to time, but we will be more than happy to take care of it if it does. Charles Pittman,
Right.
I think Mayor Reeves, you met Charles, but he is, you met him, I think, the first week that he was there.
Yeah.
So it was, he and I was transitioning. So if you see Charles, he'll be more than happy to work with anybody. My number's actually on that. Like I said, I traveled all the plants. I'll be more than happy to, I field calls day and night. It doesn't matter. You could call me at any time, and then if we have an issue, I'm not saying that we could address it immediately, but we could actually, find out what's going on and see if we can come to a solution. The other thing is, and Mayor Reeves, what I'll be working on, because I'm, like I said, I'm still heavily involved with Quitman, is Charles and I would like to work with you individually to see about setting up where the council can come out and actually tour the plant again. I'm sure the last time you toured it, from what it was then and what it is now, is a totally different plant.
Oh, yeah.
And we'd love to have you guys out and just kind of walk through the facility and see all the changes and continual changes. Because, I mean, we invested over $25 million into that facility just last year alone. And on the books for this year, we have another $10 million investment into it. So we continually are making progress and improving standards. Any questions you have for me?
I think when we came up before and toured, y'all hadn't even built a new office building yet. It was, still had a little trailer there or whatever.
And we love the fact that those trailers are not there. That is already an improvement when you don't have to worry about stepping through a hole in the floor, right?
That's it. You're talking about detailing the car, if it had some stuff on a car or truck. I don't live real close to the plant, but if you'll notice my truck, when you go by, it's got a lot of dirt and stuff on it. Would I qualify, or?
I don't think so, but, we
If you
can
don't ask,
always
the
take a
answer's
look and
always
have a
no.
conversation. That's right. That's
Yeah,
right.
y'all made a lot of improvements, and it's a lot better. And, when you first opened, and that was a lot of stuff y'all inherited, we were having a fire probably at least once a week. I don't know when there's been a fire there that y'all couldn't control yourself.
Yeah, we, in fact, I know I got there July last year, July 24, and we never had to call the fire department in my stint.
Yeah.
We did work with the fire department on getting some training as far as putting out spot fires and things
Okay.
like that, but
Yeah.
as far as calling them out to actually help rescue us from
Yeah.
the situation, we have not.
I knew I hadn't heard
One
anything.
time years ago, it was 2 or 3 times a week.
Oh, yeah,
That was
it was
years
regular
ago.
right there at first got it. I think what the other plant manager said, a lot of the bearings and stuff were worn out and creating a lot of heat. You had a lot of overflow onto that.
Well, and then a lot of this, there's still quite a bit of structure that's out there that we have actually mothballed. It's not even utilized anymore. And so it's there. We are going to tear it down at some point. But, some of that, we've put in a lot of new equipment.
Yeah.
And that has helped us in mitigating all that problem.
How many employees you running now?
We have, I believe it's 46 right now.
Okay.
46, yes, sir. And, that is up. Used to the plant run about 25 to 28.
Yeah.
So we've done a lot of hiring, and, that is kind of our number now of where we will be at.
Y'all are running 24 hours a day, round-the-clock shifts, or
Yes,
is it
sir.
2 shifts, 3 shifts?
Well, we run 12-hour shifts.
2 12 hours?
So 2 is 12 hours. It's shift work, so it's a 3-4 rotation,
Okay.
and it's 365.
Okay. Well, the air quality has been an issue, and I know it got better there for a while. It's been kind of back and forth, and I know y'all made attempts to get it under control, and it's gotten better. But like I said, the other day was an exception. I do believe that. But do y'all do regular air quality monitoring? Does the state require that?
Yes, sir. It is.
And y'all have to report
We
it?
actually do it every day. And not only do we do that, we have systems in place that actually monitors force, and that's differential pressure switches and things like that we have. So when the differential pressure goes up, we know that we have the opportunity to release into atmosphere.
Good. And does DEQ, do they come do random spot checks or anything like that too?
Yes, sir. In fact, we're working with them right now on our Title V permanent updates
Okay.
and stormwater updates, both of them. So we are actually, I was with them last month towards the beginning of the month or the end of October for a little while as we were walking through some of them and about what some of our modifications that we're looking for.
Well, speaking of stormwater, I know we've had an issue with stormwater and noise. A lot of the trucks that deliver y'all chips during the night, we've had issue with loud pipes and Jake brakes on those. And I know there's a contractor for y'all, but it would help if you would put a firm notice out to your truck drivers and your supplier, your truckers that, in town. The
And we
noise.
do that from time to time,
Right.
not to cut you off, Mayor Reeves, but we do that from time to time, but honestly, and I told the police chief, I said, please,
Right.
write a ticket.
Right.
If you
Yeah.
write one or two tickets, that will get out very
It will.
quickly.
It'll go a long
And
ways.
we don't want to have to do that, but
Right.
when I go to our procurement team,
Right.
that's who handles our
Right.
logistics, and, I say, hey, we're getting some complaints again and everything else, write a ticket or two, and they will stop.
Okay, and I agree, but like I said, from y'all's end, helping reinforce
Yes,
that
sir.
would help. But,
In fact, I will send that message back out to my procurement team in the morning.
and across the road, all the chips across the road, what's the plan for all that? I mean, it's just unsightly, and it seems like it's been over there for a long time.
It has been there
And I
a
don't
long
know,
time.
I don't know,
That's-
it's just unsightly,
Right.
And,
Right now, I will say that we don't have a plan for it. We have, I think you can tell, this past year also, I actually consumed a tremendous amount of
yeah,
that
I knew y'all
material.
were trying to
And
incorporate
it's
them.
kind of to the point now of, it cannot be any more of that consumed because, it gets,
It's
dirt
degraded too much,
and
yeah.
everything else. And that's when you try to run some of that stuff, then we'll go back to having fires and detriment to equipment and unsafe conditions.
Okay,
So we are looking at it, but I can't stand in front of you and tell you we have a plan.
and I appreciate that, okay. I'm just curious, and I know they've been there a long time. I
Yes.
figured they were getting rotten to the point where they couldn't be used,
Yeah, we've used, well, I'll put it this way, we've used more than we put over there.
Okay.
So that material was over there when we purchased
Yeah,
the
it's been there a long
place.
time, yeah.
And we track everything that we put over there, and we have used about twice as much as what we put over there.
Yeah.
So we don't even know, as far as how much is there, or how long it's been there.
Yeah, it's been a while. Okay.
But we have been in talks about, leveling it all out and those kind of things, but I can't tell you that that's planned at this moment.
Hey, Mr. Jackson had a,
Is it appropriate for the public to ask questions?
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Billy, two questions for you.
Yes, sir.
One, you had mentioned that the plan was to add upper level sensors to those cyclones.
No, sir, I said that we are looking at what the right thing would be to put as a second line of defense on those cyclones, possibly up towards the top. Yes,
Okay,
sir.
so that is not a firm.
No, we're looking at that right now. We have our engineers looking at what the right thing to do is.
My second question is there an established process for the public? Because you said this group, you have my number, it's on the paper, but do you have an established process so the public, if they have issue or concern, that they can address those, I guess, to you, or do they? is that process-
I would say they would probably need to come through this board, and we would be their means of addressing those issues.
Yeah.
I mean, not to say they can't go to his office and try to talk to him, that's the public's option, but
Yeah,
I
I
would.
don't know if they had a hotline or something like that.
Yeah.
No, sir. And it's been, like I said, I got there July last year, and we had two kind of complaints within the first month and a half. And besides for off and on with the trucks on, that's driving, but from the plant itself, there hadn't been any other complaints until now. So it's been very much under control. And immediately when we saw that, we got that taken care of because it was just unvisible at the time.
Well, I just know some people who live in the area, some family members, and they were complaining about their vehicles and
Yeah.
homes and those things.
Oh, it was bad.
If you personally know him, I can go up there and talk to Charles. And he'll
No,
be more
no,
than happy.
they should let them come.
Well, they'd call me and I can give them Charles' number or whatever, we can, I've got a couple that I've already talked to over on Thompson Avenue, and I went over there, it was bad, but I knew it was extraordinarily bad. It wasn't it was more than what it usually ever is, and, so, having an issue explains it. But it's still, those people, that one lady had a brand new car that was just covered in wood dust, and, so I sympathize with that, so.
Absolutely. Yes, sir.
All right, any other comments or questions? All right, we appreciate you coming.
All right, if y'all don't mind, I'm gonna step out.
John, that's fine.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you. All right, any other comments or public comments or appearances? All right, need the board got anything, any additions to the agenda?
I don't have anything.
All right, there being no additions to the agenda, we need a confirmation of the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second to confirm the agenda. All in favor, by aye?
Aye.
All opposed, no. Ayes have it. All right, department managers' reports. Ms. Tammy,
I
nothing?
don't have anything.
Reverend Reed. I know we've gotten a lot of complaints, still getting a lot of complaints with loud vehicles, but we've discussed that at length, and we're taking a proactive approach to trying to get that under control. And it's just,
Especially on North Jackson.
Right.
And kind of doing a detail right now, but also continuing on Thompson Avenue with a four-way stop. I think a couple of citations have been written. And so it's just continuing to do that proactive approach. And anytime we have any other issues, it's still the dump trucks, they're still operating, whatever, so we're still doing little detail in that regard as far as places we get to certain areas and whatever. So I have the number to the owner. So anytime you do have an issue, please, I mean, you board members, y'all are more than welcome to call me directly, call me, text me on that phone, or the mayor, and you can get the information to me, and I'll call the owner directly. So I've done that a few times. So anytime we have any issues, please let me know so I can get it addressed.
Chief, I've had a lot.
Presence at Ridge Road.
Sir?
We appreciate your presence at Ridge Road.
Yes, sir.
Ridge Road, yeah. I've had a lot of calls from Archusa Mini Mart or whatever it's called on East Franklin late at night. I say late, probably, 8 or 9 o'clock or something like that, on speeding and loud pipes.
like across the lake there.
Yeah, starting at the lake and coming this way. And I think there were, a neighbor here heard them the other night. There were several of them back to back through there. So that's something y'all kind of keep a watch on.
Didn't you say there was one you were hearing every day about 5 or 6 o'clock?
Yeah, that's tough.
That stopped?
It started about 8:30 or 9.
Oh, okay. Oh, well,
It didn't stop, it just
it just,
postponed.
yeah, he changed the schedule.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
All right, Jonathan Tanner.
Biggest thing we got is tomorrow night, Mississippi Power is going to be doing a power outage. Me and the mayor's been in contact with them all day. And we believe that Mississippi Power has worked out a solution so that the city of Quitman doesn't lose a water well in this outage. However, with that being said, we're going to have to monitor it, make sure that when it shuts down, that we're still up. If not, we're going to have to bring the system down. We'll have to bring it back up. We will be on the board water notice. So we're going to give everybody a heads up.
And what time does that start?
This is going to start Wednesday at midnight.
Okay.
Me and my crew will be out at 11:30 waiting on it. We've got everything in place for in case. So we're going to hope for the best, but we're prepared for the worst.
And there'll be a citywide shutdown for all the residents.
Well,
If their plan falls through and Pachita substation can't handle the load, the city will lose power. However, if all goes good and God graces us, we won't.
They say we, the entire city, or
no,
just?
so the plan is right now is Dart will be out of power, the pellet mill will lose power, and some residents right there on Hickory Street.
Okay.
Originally, it was going to be the whole town, and we pled our case with Mississippi Power that wasn't acceptable, and that we would lose water, since we're not having since runoff pump. So they're basically rerouting power from Pachita, and they feel confident that Pachita will hold it, but if the demand's too high, it could cause Pachita to trip out, which would cause us all to lose power. But they're very confident that won't happen, but there's still a slight chance that it could happen.
I received a call yesterday twice saying that was no longer necessary.
Okay, so that's what, since they made that change, some people that were gonna be involved are now not, because they basically, like I said, it's the Dart pellet mill and a few people on Hickory Street there that are gonna be involved in it. And the people that are involved should have gotten another call today or yesterday telling them they would be without power from midnight to 6 a.m. which will still be an inconvenience for those people, but it's better than the whole town. But, like I said, we have very little, we did all we could do to minimize it,
That's all I have.
All right. Okay, code enforcement, don't have anything on that right now. Board standing committees, unfinished business, nothing, so it brings us to new business. You've got the meeting minutes from November 18th in front of you there. Need a motion to approve those. The attorney has reviewed them and has no exceptions.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Motion and a second to approve November 18th regular meeting minutes. All in favor by aye? Aye. All opposed, no. Ayes have it. All right, need a motion to approve the minutes from the special call meeting of November 26, 2025.
So made.
And a motion is second.
Second.
And a second. All in favor by aye?
Aye.
All opposed, no. Ayes have it. All right, that brings us to Miss Beth Rainey. She's from the Mississippi Main Street Association, going to give us a little information on that.
Thank y'all for having me tonight. My name is Beth Rainey. I'm the Deputy Director for the Mississippi Main Street Association. I live in Clinton. Our offices are based in Jackson, but our staff works all over the state. So I'll just kind of go through this presentation real quick. If you have any questions, please just ask as we go through. I think it'll be easier to answer as we go through. And I'll be glad to stick around and answer any questions afterward. So Jeannie Zirin is our Executive Director. She was promoted earlier this year. She's been with Main Street for 17 years. She lives in Oxford, Mississippi. And that's me, visual hair. Anna Hawks is our Director of Community Development. So if you decide to become a Main Street community, she would be your primary liaison between the local community and the state level program. She lives in Clinton as well. Oops, I'm sorry. Paige Choate is our administrative assistant. She lives in Brandon, and we also have a new employee, Lila Winfield, who is our marketing and outreach specialist, and she's in Ridgeland. So a little bit of overview about Mississippi Main Street and Main Street in general. So all throughout the United States, Main Streets are depicted in several different ways, but typically they're older buildings put together. It evokes a sense of community, of a sense of place, a sense of color, vibrancy. The sidewalks are usually wide and walkable, and this encourages people to gather in these places. I'm gonna get this little right in a second. Does anybody know where this Main Street is?
I was going to ask, where is that? I don't.
Disney World.
Oh, really?
It is. So even Walt Disney knew that Main Street was important to us, and so he created Main Street USA at Disney, and they pipe in music and sounds, but this Main Street is set up a lot like we encourage our Main Streets to set up, with lights, with landscaping, trash cans, benches, things to make our streets people friendly. So in the 1950s, after World War II, the Highway Act was enacted in the United States, and it encouraged people to move out of our cities, out of our downtowns, and into suburbs. And suburbs were created not for walking, they were created for cars. So it pulled people out of our downtowns and into these suburbs, and they had to drive back into the downtown to do their shopping, and any kind of business that they had in the downtown. And so in response to that, a lot of our shopping malls and grocery stores and business facilities started moving to those suburbs as well. And our inner city, our downtowns, started to look like this. Dilapidated, unused, windows broken, boarded up, bad streets. Here's another one. Does anybody know where this Main Street is?
It's in the mountains.
I was gonna say Tennessee somewhere.
This is like anywhere USA.
Okay.
I
We're
think
all
every
right.
city that has an intersection or a highway, off-ramp and on-ramp that looks like this could be anywhere. This place has no sense of place, it has no place of identity. It could just be, it could be here or it could be, in Washington State. So the National Main Street Center in the 1980s, a lady named Mary Means was employed by the Historic Trust to come in and really take a look at our aging downtowns, basically, and to try and find a way to bring commerce and life back into those vacant, derelict, abandoned buildings. So in 1980, the National Trust established the National Main Street Association. It is currently headquartered in Chicago. They have 46 coordinating programs, which Mississippi Main Street is a coordinating program. Not every state has a Main Street, and some states have more than one coordinating program, like Orlando and New Orleans are their own coordinating programs. And there are more than 1,600 local communities that are Main Streets in the United States. Out of that, Mississippi Main Street was founded in 1984, which is only 4 years later. MTA, the Development Authority, the Small Town Center at Mississippi State, and the Department of Archives and Histories all joined together to form Mississippi Main Street. And those three entities are still our partners today. They each have a seat on our board and still contribute to the work of Main Street in the state of Mississippi. We're headquartered in Jackson, and currently we have 80 communities. We have 48 designated communities that are our highest level of membership. We have about 5 network communities that are working toward designation, and about 30 associate communities, which I think Quitman was an associate community about 4 or 5 years ago.
Two or 3 years.
Okay. So the mission of Mississippi Main Street is to be the catalyst for preservation and economic revitalization of Mississippi's historic downtowns and traditional commercial districts, which I did drive around a little bit when I got here. I have never been to Quitman before. And I saw you had a nice block of buildings, some that are being used for your downtown, and I just kind of drove around the courthouse and took a look. And you have a lot of great assets working for you that could really play into developing your economy further. This is a map of our communities. You can see the red of the designated, which is the highest level. The associate members at the lowest level are in yellow. So we're scattered all throughout the state. Anna Hawks and I do the most travel throughout the state, and we service all of these communities basically from Jackson.
Ma'am, can you define, go back one,
Sure.
all right, define those categories.
Sure. So a designated community has been through training and a lot of board work and preparation to work to this highest level. There's a set of standards that they have to meet. They have to have a director in place. They have to have a functioning board. They need to adhere to the 4-point approach, which we'll talk about in just a minute. They also have to attend a certain amount of trainings, and they have dues that they have to pay, and they engage in an MOA with us, saying the things that we'll provide to them and they provide to us. And they are at they receive the most services from us.
Okay.
So they're eligible for grant funding from us. They're eligible for in-person visits, for trainings for their boards, trainings for the director, a lot of different services that we offer to our designated communities. That network level is a 2-year level. You can only stay in network for 2 years, but it is the working path to become designated. So at that level, we're helping a community establish a board, find a director, set up their 501(c) status if they don't already have it, make sure they know the 4 points and how to engage those 4 points in their community, set up their committees under those 4 points, and start talking about what their economic situation looks like, where they stand on gaps and leakages in their community as far as their economy goes, and started to brainstorm about what kind of businesses to recruit and to focus on to bring into your downtown to help your economy become more thriving and vibrant. And then the associate level member, there are no requirements on that level. It's just kind of like a holding place. Some people just want to be in the association to receive our newsletters, to be invited to our trainings as a support mechanism. Other members start there. Everybody has to start as an associate member, I'll just say that. Other people start there with the intention to move up that pathway to become designated.
And Mayor, you said Quitman is an associate.
Well, they were. So
They
Quitman was in
were.
it, and then they were in it for about 2 years, and then the board voted to get out, dissolve it. Some of the benefits for associate members, would we get, help with marketing, stuff, and some grant money? I mean, is that,
So there's not marketing help at the associate level. I run our grant program, that falls under my responsibilities, and I do send those out to everybody.
Right.
So all the grant opportunities do go out. We are still working on a big grant program with the legislature. It's called MMSRG, Mississippi Revitalization Grant Program. And it looks like it's going to go through, but that program is also open to associate members, and that is up to a $500,000 grant through MTA for revitalization projects in your downtown. And it carries, for our community your size, I think it carries a 18% match is required for that. But all of our communities, they get ARPA money. All of our designated communities, we had $8 million worth of ARPA money that we employed and implemented across the state. We get grants from Appalachian Regional Commission, Delta Regional Authority, lots of different resources that we work with to provide grants to our communities. And we also spread that information to whoever we can.
Do y'all allow for in-kind matching?
We do allow for in-kind matching, yes. We do have a smaller community development grant that we just pushed out that is available to our network and designated communities. And that requires in-kind matching. Those are small, like shovel-ready projects, around $5,000 or under. That is a matching grant. So a few of our community statistics, I know we talked about this in planning this meeting. So the average city population of a Main Street community in Mississippi is about 15,000. The county population average is about 104,000. You can see from that map, we're heavily populated in the northeast portion of the state. We have a good balance of communities in the central part of the state and in the south part of the state as well. Along the Gulf Coast, we have 6. So that's a pretty good concentration down there. We encourage all of our programs to be a 501c3. That is really for grant purposes. When we received ARPA funding, it was required that our communities be a 501c3 to receive that money from the legislature. And some of our other grant programs through the legislature and through federal funds also require programs to be a 501c3. That is the process that we walk through with all of our communities as they work through that network process. We help them fill out that paperwork, get in touch with the right people, and make sure that that 501c3 is in place before they're designated so that they can participate in our grant programs. I know we talked about the chamber being part of this, so the Main Street Chamber you can see is in red. It's about 20% of our communities are Main Street chambers. We also have a lot of programs that are partnerships where it's the Main Street Chamber, tourism, economic development, all in one office. Starkville's a really good example of that. And then we also have several, the majority of our programs are standalone programs that are their own entity without anybody else working on the same program together. But there are great examples of Main Street chambers all over the state. So the average annual revenue per program is about $87,000. That's done through city commitments to funding for the organization, county obligation for funding, and fundraising. We like to say a third is where we like to look at where our money's coming from. Also, a lot of our communities have memberships to Main Street, and some of their funding comes through that revenue source. 89% of our communities receive city funding, and the average is about $27,000. 46% receive county funding of about $15,000. That is an issue in the state of Mississippi. Main Streets are not designated as one of the programs that can receive county funding through the, I don't remember what the name of the law is, but through the county funding mechanism. And so in order to achieve that, the counties that do want to support their Main Streets donate through the city, and the city donates to Main Street. Our program director, so what is your exact population?
About 2,000, right around 2,000.
So any community under 5,000 only needs to employ a part-time director, so 20 hours a week, paid. Anything over 10,000, or I'm sorry, 5,000 requires a full-time director. So we have about 17% of our employees, or our directors are part-time, and they average a part-time salary of about $17,000. It does have to be a paid position, the director does. So why revitalize? Our downtowns often account for as much as 30% of the town's jobs and 40% of its tax base. And a downtown is your community's crossroads. It evokes a strong sense of emotion and helps define our identity. I was sitting in a session, a training session not too long ago, and a speaker equated a city with your body, and the downtown being like your mental health expert. And when you have a broken body and an unhealthy body, no one wants to be in your downtown. But when your body is healthy and your mental health is up and you're happy and joyful, everybody wants to be in your downtown. So we really work through a 4-point approach to implement, number one, economic vitality so that your downtown district is thriving as far as businesses go, but also organization, promotion to encourage vibrancy in your downtown. Parades, festivals, events, open spaces, several different things like that. So this is our statewide economic impact for 2024. This is 50 communities. So in 50 communities, our total public and private investment was over $6 million. And most of these communities run with one person on their Main Street team. So the Main Street approach consists of 4 elements. The way we remember this in our office is DOPE. So design, organization, promotion, and economic vitality. Design is the way that your place makes you feel. It's the images that it invokes in your mind. It's the sense of safety that you have in your downtown. It's the way things look. Organization has to do with the managing of the organization, your board, policies, procedures, rules, and guidelines. Economic vitality has to do with your businesses and cultivating a strong entrepreneurship environment for people to want to come in and start small businesses in your community. And then promotion is all about marketing and branding and festivals and events to promote your downtown to help bring people into your community. So really quickly, we'll just go through the member benefits. I know we've talked about some of this, so I might just skip through some things. So at the associate member level, you receive emails that tell you about our annual trainings and conferences. You're invited to our annual awards luncheon, which is a great place to get ideas to, we call it R&R, rip off and repeat. There's nothing new under the sun, and a lot of our Main Streets share ideas in different levels of that. You receive a State of the Street newsletter quarterly. There's a Director's Digest that goes out monthly. That also includes grant information in it and things that are going on in the state. We recognize you on our website, social media, and you also can receive remote assistance for your program via phone, Zoom, emails, things like that. And it is a $500 membership for an associate level. When you move to the network level, that's that training ground for designated. Your dues do go up to $1,500 a year. We do ask at that time that you start to put together your board. We'll help with that process over that 2-year period. And then you also employ a part-time director that is in training to become the director once you become designated. And then the designated, like we talked about, is our highest level of membership. It's $26.50 a year. You are required to have a functioning board at that level and a part-time director in Quitman's case. There is a one-time downtown visioning fee. It's about $27,000. We break that over a 3-year period, so it's $10,000 the first year, $9,000 the second, $8,000 the third. And we bring in a team of national experts to do work on the 4 points in your community. And at the end of the process, you have about a 100-page guide to revitalizing your downtown that deals with all 4 points. that associate level, where you would start at. You do receive recognition, as a Main Street member. You receive our newsletters, discounts for training, start to learn about the 4-point approach, and access to our downtown toolbox, list of preferred vendors that can help you learn more about Main Street. The network has more benefits, and then the designated level has obviously the full benefits available. So to join the network pathway, which brings you to that highest designated level, it is a 2-year program. The network communities are expected to perform like a designated community. It's their training ground, so that once you become designated, we know that you can be a functional designated program and meet all the requirements of that program. So for network communities, to make it to that level, if you're interested in moving from associate to network, the requirements for that is a desire to pursue downtown revitalization. You would also need a community-led effort. This doesn't really work when we recruit communities. This has to be something that your community wants to do and is invested in. We can't make you follow our guidelines. It's something that you have to want to do to improve your community and what's available to what's the word I'm looking for, y'all? The people that live in your town. You'll also start to establish financial support from public and private investors. You'll need to be able to pay your dues at that level of that $1,500 and start figuring out how you're going to pay for that $27,000 roadmap. And we do provide resources and help with that. If there's any community foundations in the area or things like that, we can help you work with them to work on grant funding for that roadmap. And then the commitment to the Main Street approach, which that comes from establishing your board and establishing committees in each of the 4 points. This kind of gives you an idea of what's in that network application. I'm just going to skip through that. So, if you decided to move forward with Main Street, the first thing you would do is apply to be an associate member. I can send the mayor or anybody the application form for that. It's a short application, and it is a $500 membership fee at that level yearly. It is invoiced in January, typically, and due the end of January, and then invoiced again the next year if you keep staying at the associate member. But if you want to move to that network level, we have a network application workshop every year in March. You're required to come to that workshop. We kind of go over all of this again. And talk about what the network pathway looks like, the benchmarks that you need to meet while you're on that pathway. And at that time, we would give you the application to become a network community. It's a pretty thorough application. It's several pages long, and it's not easily done in one sitting because it really asks about your architectural assets and some of the other assets in your community. That is due back to us typically at the end of July. Anna Hawks would then come and do a site visit of your community just to kind of see what's here, the assets, and talk to several people in the community to gauge the grassroots effort for that. And then we would take that to our board at our September board meeting. We would notify everyone after that board meeting if they've been accepted to the next level, and then the next year, you would fall into that network community and start your 2 years to work toward being the designated community. Successful economic development is rarely about one big thing. More likely, it is about a lot of little things working synergistically together in a plan that makes sense. So that's what we really try and encourage, working together on several different aspects of your community to create a sense of vibrancy, to create a sense of place, to draw people into your downtown, to make it a place that people want to be, a place that feels safe, warm, and welcome. And that is really the goal of Mississippi Main Street.
So my questions are kind of, I guess, what examples and what benefits would there be for the Main Street and Chamber working together? So I'll throw some things out that the Chamber does currently, and I guess I kind of want to know how Main Street could help with these programs,
Right.
these events. Currently, they do the farmer's market, February through June? And that kind of when y'all been doing it? February through June? And then, so farmer's market, February through June downtown. And then we're doing a Clark Fest, which is out at Archusa, which is still in town. And it's the biggest event by far. So we're doing that. This year, we had a concert the night before, and then the event the next day, which is pretty much an arts and crafts festival. And then also, so like this past Saturday, we had a Christmas market downtown on Main Street. It's been very successful the last few years. And then the Christmas parade. And I think that's it, right? Am I missing anything?
Halloween,
No, that was emergency management, did the trunk or treat. So
We have the awards thing
Well, the
in
banquet,
January, where
right.
they have the business of the year, citizen of the
I
year.
think that would still be a chamber thing. I don't think
Yeah.
Main Street would be able to do much with that. But-
Yeah.
So those things, right now, the chamber has to do, fundraising. They have volunteers. They do a tremendous amount of work. And they do a good job at it. But what advantages could Main Street bring to that? Marketing,
Right.
administrative cost, and stuff like that.
So, the main thing is, to me, just the difference between the chamber and Main Street is a different way of looking at things. And what we can bring to you is, for your concert that you have, is that a free event for people to attend?
No, we charge.
You
And like I said,
charge.
the point of it was really to be a fundraiser for the chamber.
Yeah. There's several grants out there that we promote, but typically those have to be free events. It's through the Levitt Foundation that does those grants. We can provide you grant resources for individual grants that you can apply for. The main thing would be a person that's simply dedicated to this, because promotion is part of that four-point approach and something that the Main Street Director would be responsible for.
And y'all would have resources to help with promotion and marketing, even at the associate
We would
level?
have training to help with that.
Okay.
Like, we would help train that director. It's not necessarily funds available or necessarily resources, but we would provide training to that Main Street Director. We would also, during that roadmap, you would receive full city branding for the Main Street. That's part of that roadmap process. And also, they could come in and help with new ideas for promotion and streamline your promotional events, which is a really great planning process. Through Main Street, every year, our National Main Street requires a work plan to be turned in. And basically, it helps streamline our work. It allows us to say no to some things and yes to some things, based on what our mission is as a Main Street in the community. So some things don't necessarily need to fall under the chamber or Main Street if they don't align with the chamber or the Main Street's mission. They need to go to another group in the
Right.
community. So that work planning kind of helps define what your mission is and where you should place your efforts and work. And we do that every year. We provide board trainings and work planning sessions every year to work on that.
And I think, I guess, kind of what I'm looking at is the chamber, I want to help the chamber get out of the event planning business and get
Yeah.
more into the chamber
Yeah.
business lobbying and business like they should be, but to work together with the event planning that Main
Right.
Street could provide.
And that's a very common, I'm going to speak about Starkville for a second because I'm super familiar with their program. And they are a chamber Main Street economic development tourism program. They are all housed in the same office. They share office space. They collaborate on ideas together all the time. But the Main Street Director is responsible for all their promotional events. She's responsible also for their farmers market. That falls under her, under economic vitality. So she runs the farmers market, finds volunteers, takes care of the tax paperwork that goes with the farmers market, if it's not a tax-free market. Like you were saying, your Christmas market in Clinton, the Main Street Director is in charge of all of their community markets, like arts and crafts festivals, making sure taxes are collected and turned in on time to the Department of Revenue. Charging for the booths, making sure everybody's set up in the right place. It takes the event planning off the chamber.
Right. It's pretty
Because Main
much,
Street does cover that event planning, along with a lot of other things.
yeah, so right now the chamber pays an employee to do just those things, and that would basically take the burden of that from them and shift it to something the city could
Right.
help
Yes.
with, right?
And along with that, they're planning those events to really maximize, the revenue that they get from the tax payments that come in. So they have to make sure that they're doing the right things. And that's a very common, I'm going to speak about Starkville for a second because I'm super familiar with their program. And they are a chamber Main Street economic development tourism program. They are all housed in the same office. They share office space. So the perception of your downtown, because they're totally invested in what happens in your downtown area or your downtown district that you define as your Main Street district. So, I lost my train of thought. I'm sorry.
I do it all the time.
So yes, that person is continually working on promotion, looking at the district and how we can clean things up and make things prettier and create a sense of safety in the downtown. So there's several elements to the answer to your question, but yes, that promotion generally always falls under Main Street when it's a combined organization.
Where would the funds go from those events that are raised?
So, if it is a partner organization, they would share those. That's typically how it works. In the partnership in Starkville, all their funds are pulled together, and then they all have separate budgets where it's divided out among the budgets. So that would be a decision that y'all would have to make as you set up that organization.
And how many cities our size are Main Street participants?
Our smallest community is Woodville. They're about 800. We have Tunica, who's about your size, 2,000. I would say out of our 48 designated communities, we have 6-ish that are about their size.
And I think I remember at the conference, there was some, you said something about, like downtown type stuff, like a mural, if we wanted to paint a mural, or then is there resources to help with stuff like that?
Yeah,
Grants?
so those community development grants I
Right.
talked about a few minutes ago.
Or
for that
facade
low-hanging
grants and
fruit.
stuff like that?
Yes,
I mean,
so
it's-
several of our communities set up their own facade grant programs where they use their fundraising money to match a grant with a business owner. Like, your facade grant could be $2,000, and the Main Street organization, the chamber, would put $1,000 for it, and the business owner would put the other $1,000 for it. So it's a partnership. The community development grants cover shovel-ready work, murals, lighting. I'm trying to think what we had this year. Renderings for a pocket park from a
Yeah.
consultant, things like that. The maximum grant for that is $2,500, and it is a matching grant, so it's up to a $5,000 project. So there are opportunities for those grants on a yearly basis. And I'm constantly seeking grants for people, even if I can't apply for them for you, that you can apply for to help accomplish some of these things. That's the main part of my job, really.
Any questions from any of our chamber members? Any ideas or questions or concerns? Crickets. I know Nolan's got something to say.
Stand up, Nolan, if you will. Please, yeah. Nolan, stand up for me. Now, have you ever seen a 5 or 16-year, or 15 or 16? How many? 15.
Thank you for being active in your community.
He is very active.
Amazing.
He set up at our Clark Fest and did Big Daddy's Burgers,
I
which
love
was a
it.
phenomenal success. He is quite a cook.
That's great. That's great.
Thank you.
Yeah. A lot of our communities, the Main Street also runs a youth leadership program. So they establish that, help the kids get active in the community with art projects and things like that, just like what Nolan's doing. And we want to cultivate a sense of pride in community, and hopefully that those young people will come back to their community after they go off to college or the military and stay in their community and help better their community.
Good.
All right, we appreciate you coming.
Thanks for coming over.
I'll wait till after and save for questions.
Okay. All right, any board action on that right now, or do y'all want to kind of mull it over and think about it and come back to it next meeting?
I think we ought to mull it over
Yeah.
and kind of look for a director, have somebody in mind that we want to use. Mull it over right now.
Okay, all right, we'll look at that on the next meeting probably. All right, that brings us to item D in new business. We need to consider approving the revised handbook. I emailed a copy of that to all y'all. If y'all didn't look at it or want to see it, I've got another copy here. You didn't? I emailed it to you like a week ago. I meant to text y'all and tell you I had, but it's here. Attorney, you want to kind of go over some of the changes you made?
Yeah, I can hit that. Hang on just a second, because I made quite a few. Okay, so the statute does not really differentiate between vacation and personal time. So basically, I took that out to where there is no distinguishing factor between vacation and personal, so it's just now personal time. See, that was probably the biggest. Let's see here. And that starts on page 43. If you get down to
So vacation would be considered personal time?
so under the Mississippi statute, like, it doesn't differentiate at all between the two. So just to kind of keep us kind of with the same as the statute, I just changed it to personal. That's a small deal, but that's, overtime, any reference to comp time is now gone. That was another big one.
Bereavement, we made the bereavement change.
Yeah. Let's see. Okay, and I did change some language. The case law and the Attorney General opinions kind of, when they talk about whether somebody is owed personal time or kind of at the end of their service, is it whether it's earned or whether it's given by the board? There's kind of, it really depends on your handbook as to whether it's earned or it's something that's given. If it's earned, it's something that at the end of your time, if you've accumulated it, you got to pay it out at the end. If it's given, you can tell your employees, hey, we're giving you this, but if you don't use it, you lose it. So basically, to prevent us from kind of running the same issue we're having right now that could potentially bankrupt the city if you have all this happen at one time, I kind of softened some of that language. I took out as a reward for personal service, because that kind of indicates that time has been earned. It's not necessarily given. Let's see. I clarified, because it didn't really say, what happens when it was, it says if you're terminated, but it doesn't say, if you resign, if you pass. I kind of clarified that to say if you're no longer an employee with the city for any reason whatsoever, all of this applies to you. This is how we deal with it, because it was just a little silent as to that. Again, change. I can go through this with y'all one by one, but we'll be here till 8 o'clock tonight if I do that.
We got padded chairs.
I noticed, we're comfortable now. I noticed you just changed a lot of verbiage and just a lot of small words.
A lot of it was changing the verbiage, and the point of a lot of this, the biggest thing was to soften the language to showing that it was, that your time that you're given is given to you. It's not earned. It is not like this is not part of your compensation for working with the city. This is something we're giving you to be off these times. So that was the biggest thing. But any reference to comp time is gone. Comp time will be, if y'all approve this, comp time will be officially gone.
So in place of that, it's overtime.
It's just straight overtime,
Yeah.
and then you've got, it's just no longer called vacation time, it's called personal time. So, and that's just
Do you get the
because
same amount?
it doesn't change the amount. It's just that the statute under Mississippi law right now doesn't actually govern, or they do govern vacation time, but they call it personal time. So just for us to be symmetrical with the statute and how the state references these things, I just changed it to personal time, just so there's no confusion about what we're talking about here. Because like when I go to research a statute, if I look up vacation time, well, is that personal? That could just lead to a conflict. If it ever goes to court, I just want it to be the same as the statute. Consistent. That's what I was looking for 10 minutes.
All right. Any other questions? All right, we need a motion to approve this revised handbook. And of course, all city employees will have to re-sign it.
And if y'all see that y'all don't, if y'all approve it tonight, and y'all see a change that y'all want to make next week, I'll change it again. That ain't no problem, so.
Like something we had a question about was changing our board time. You were gonna look into that, or is that?
We're doing that, that's an ordinance change.
I know we was gonna look into
We've got
that.
that,
That's already in the motion. That's already in
all
motion.
that.
we're running.
I thought you were looking in the handbook, see if the way we're doing it was correct, or,
No, I was looking at, I was looking at the statute and the Attorney General opinions as to what we actually had to have in our ordinance about our time and our meeting designation. We do have to have a time and place.
Yeah.
So.
We got that running in the paper next week.
Yeah, and they'll run in the
It's
paper.
got to run it every 2 weeks and then 30 days. So our
January.
our last meeting in January will be at the time.
Yeah, so starting February 1, we'll be meeting in the morning.
No, January,
January the second.
the second
Tuesday.
meeting.
Oh, the second?
Second.
Okay, the second meeting will be meeting, okay.
Yeah, the 30 days won't be up before the first meeting, so it'll be,
Okay.
it's like a few days after.
For some reason, I was thinking it wasn't going to run out until the first meeting in February, but
Yeah, no, what we looked at, we got 2 weeks in the paper and then 30 days and put it at the second meeting.
sounds good.
All right, anybody will make a motion to approve this handbook?
motion to approve.
Motion by Mr. Neely and a second by Mr. Weed. All in favor, by aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Ayes have it.
Is there a way we can kind of make sure that the employees read this thing? Because I had.
Well, I'm gonna kind of go over, I'm gonna go over the changes we've made, the no comp time. I mean, we'll have a discussion, me and Jonathan and the department heads will have a discussion with their employees about the
And I'm
changes.
going to
made.
send a form that I'm asking the board to, there just doesn't take board action, but basically for us to present to the employees to sign, saying that they have read it and they understand that they are bound by this.
And I'll give all the employees a copy of this, give them a day or two to read over it, and then they'll need to sign, so they'll have full understanding of what's in there. And there's not, there's no real drastic change. We gave them bereavement leave, which they didn't have before, paid bereavement leave, and then we changed comp time to overtime, and then other than that, it's just verbiage change.
How many days of the bereavement leave?
3.
Okay.
See, before it was unpaid leave, but we've added or personal leave, so they can use their time.
And now, and I will go over this, per the statute and all that, you cannot exceed, I changed it to where you cannot be paid for anything exceeding 30 days, at the end of your, you can receive PERS, like you can credit it toward PERS, and that's what the state statute, basically, we're consistent with statute.
So at the end of employment, you can only get 30 days.
You can only get 30 days
in
paid.
your pocket.
He answered my question.
Okay.
I know that's gonna be the first question, but the whole thing is that have time accumulated. So say
Well, there's not many.
Now,
There's not many that have a time accumulated.
Yeah, the only one would be like Manny,
Yeah.
mechanic, he would be probably.
now you can still do like, how you can you accumulate, 6 months, you can apply it towards PERS and do all that. You can still do that.
That's what I was
You
asking,
just-
so like basically we can accumulate, but whenever we leave, under whatever circumstance.
You don't get a check for it.
We don't get a check but for 30 days of it, and everything else will go directly to Peter.
Yeah, that's right. If you want to apply it towards your time of service, you can.
Well, I think that's the way it needed to be verbiage that way, because technically anybody that says, I don't want to do that, is throwing money out the window.
And didn't you change the language in here so where you can only accumulate so many days at the end of the year, vacation time? Did we do that? Did I see that in there? Or did we just talk about it? Let's see. Yeah, any accrued personal time that is not used that exceeds 30 days will be accumulated for purposes of determining credible service for retirement. So basically,
Right.
this is what you said, no matter how much you accumulate and don't use, you can only get paid for 30 days, the rest goes to retirement.
That doesn't mean you retire tomorrow, Jonathan. You got to hang on. I read your mind. I read your mind.
Get on out of here, he's thinking. All right, that brings us down to new business E, BBI annual software and maintenance agreement. Our yearly fee for that, $15,908.
Look, while we're talking about this, we've heard for the last probably 3 years that BBI is the worst system to be operating under, yet we continue under that. Why?
Naomi and I got prices after the summer conference from Tyler Technologies and one other company, and they were in the hundreds of thousands of dollars for a year. Way better systems, way
Yeah,
more user-friendly, but a lot of cities are still using BBI mainly because it's cheap and because they're familiar with it,
Yeah.
But we have been told kind of through the grapevine that BBI a couple years got bought out by another company, and that basically they're in the process of phasing this software out. So in a few years, it's probably going to be the point where basically the customers, they bought this company out and they want their customers to swap to the software they have.
Yeah.
If y'all want me to, I can reach out to some other municipalities and we can look at some other things.
Most I talk to, even the gas board, they still use BBI, and it's just because right now it's the cheapest one you can do, and like I said, people are familiar with it, but it's going to be at the point in a few years where we're going to have to switch, and all the ones we've looked at, they're great systems and very user-friendly, but they're way more than we can tell them,
Who have you talked to?
Tyler Technologies, and there was one other, and I can't remember the name.
The due process, are they,
I've heard that name, but that's not what we talked to.
okay, they're on the code.
Are they just court systems, or because,
They do a lot of stuff.
you gotta have water, you gotta have payroll.
Yeah, they've got a lot of stuff. A lot of counties are going to due process for their stuff. Them and data systems are kind of the two that I'm seeing. Data's out of Jackson.
Tyler Technologies, I can't remember where they're out of, and then there was one other, but they, like I said, they ran us some prices and they were outrageous, outrageous. I mean,
Now, on the invoice, the $5,400 invoice, I am going to call Miss Karen, the Star printer and the Tally 2365 HD. We're not using those, so I'm wanting to see if she can take those two off.
So we need to
and-
table this. Do you take care of that? Or?
It's whatever y'all
Well,
want.
we don't need to pay this until
Yeah.
after January. We don't, but, I mean, now, and the cost of
see,
this, just so y'all know, will be split between all departments. It won't all come out of
Okay.
general fund. Water department, all the departments use this system, so all departments will pay equal shares in the system. So it's not gonna all come out of general fund.
It sounds so, when you say this won't be due till January, that sounds so far off.
Well, no, it ain't.
But we're in December.
Yeah.
Man, I can't believe it. So that's 3 weeks.
So you wanna see about getting those two things taken off, and we'll revisit this next meeting?
Yes, that'd be fine. I emailed Miss Karen, but she never emailed me back, so.
Motion to table.
Second.
Motion to table in a second. All in favor, by aye?
Aye.
All opposed, no. Ayes have it. All right, so that brings us to our claims docket.
We got comp time.
Oh, yeah, comp
Yes.
time, let's get that.
I thought we eliminated that.
Well, we did, what we've got to deal with now is paying out the accumulated comp time that we have. Jonathan has a good bit, Miss Joyce has a good bit, and Tammy has some. The good thing is Jonathan's all comes out of water and sewer, Joyce's all comes out of water and sewer, and a portion of Tammy's comes out of water and sewer, and another portion out of garbage, which both have money. So what we're proposing, and I've talked to all these affected employees, and they're good with it, is go ahead and paying out Jonathan and Miss Joyce, because it's coming out of the water department, or water fund, and there's plenty of money there to pay it. And it's better to pay it now than wait 5 years when they're making more money and pay it then. And then Miss Tammy, go ahead and pay out her part from the water and garbage, and then let her keep her, what would come out of the general fund, basically, to use. She can just continue to use it. It won't, how much do you have total?
After the water and sewer and the garbage is like 137
Okay,
hours,
yeah,
but I'm still going back and forth to the doctor, and I don't mind using it
So, yeah, that's what they've got. Like I said, Joyce pay out all of hers, pay out all of Jonathan's, and then Tammy just pay out her water and sewer and garbage part, and then the rest she will keep to use it for her doctor visits. But it's just, you might as well go ahead and pay it because, in my opinion, you pay it now, you pay it for less than you will a year from now or 2 years from now or whatever, and you've got the money to pay it, so in my opinion, you might as well pay it.
So you need a motion on that?
Need a motion to
Pay the bill.
approve paying out the comp time for Jonathan, Joyce, and Tammy.
Johnson Santa Claus is gonna be pretty good this year.
No, let's go straight into it,
And Tammy's portion just out of garbage and water. She will retain her street portion that she'll use over time.
So the only comp time left after that would be.
It's her street time, right.
All right, you got the motion?
All right, got a motion to pay that
Second.
comp time in a second. All in favor, by aye. All opposed, no. Ayes have it. Well, you got one other comp time still drawing, which is,
Yeah, well.
We could have rolled this to PERS, huh?
no, comp time, you don't roll the burgers, you gotta pay it out, yeah. No, sick time you roll, but not
And
comp.
vacation.
And vacation.
Or personal time.
Whatever it's
Personal.
called.
Yeah, personal is right.
Yeah, personal.
All right. So claims docket now.
Vote.
Well, I had a lot of things, and I was so happy about that. And then I got to looking, I thought there was some double entries, but it's 2 different times
Two
submitted.
different months, yes,
Yeah.
sir.
I had several things on that. One thing I did have, where is that, we're still paying,
Page and paragraph.
well, that's what I'm looking for,
We're
is
still
that,
paying Plant and Pest.
yeah, for the depot. Why are we doing that?
Not, it shouldn't be the depot, it should be just for
One here,
here. She probably, she may have split it up, but it's not, he only sprays the new, this building and then the old where we were at.
page what, 2?
There's one on two. There's one for-
Mine says on page 2.
There's one
Yeah.
tree.
Plant the pest control.
Yeah, where it's got the depot, it should be
Yeah.
the new city hall.
So the amount is right, just
Yeah, it was
listing.
just, and I'll go in and fix that.
If you look right above that on the uniform, just something that stuck out to me, but I've got clarity on, but on the uniform, street department, there's an
Yeah.
amount of $1,500. That was for employees' uniforms that had quit several months ago. We finally got those back today. So we won't pay that bill, won't be that amount. We'll have those uniforms turn back in. One thing I want y'all to know is I did go through the utility bills on the back.
Yeah.
And make sure that the water utilities were coming out of the water fund and not general fund, you
Yeah.
know what I mean? So like the lagoon, water wells, lift stations, all that, make sure that's all coming out of water, which it is, so we're good on that.
All that funded properly. You got-
On page 9, all those vinyl stickers and all that stuff, that was all for the truck sweep, so that money will need to come out of House Bill 1 payment, which y'all have already approved, so that money won't come out of the general fund either, that $883. We'll need to pay that out of House Bill 1 money.
Mayor, there may be a couple in there on those invoices, we need to make sure it's not water trucks
Okay. Well, they'll either come out of water or House Bill 1.
or house building, that's right. We've almost got all the new equipment stenciled. It's been rough trying to get the Scotty and us lined up because everybody bought new equipment. And we take trucks up there, just can't even bring 5 on it.
And just a little update on the house, on the general fund is, and then payroll, we had a little money left over from that 50 we moved. Of course, we didn't need it all the other day. And so hopefully we'll be good on payroll this week and next week. And then hopefully some new money for December will be flowing in towards the end of this month. Hopefully we'll be good, make it through the year, through the rest of the year, off just what we moved the other day. All right, need a motion to approve paying them claims.
We had a couple of things that need to change in here. Should we table it waiting on a revised budget, or? Counselor, how
Print it out like that, I can't go back in and reprint. I mean, I can,
how would we credit
If you would like what you talking about changing,
or something,
the stencils,
the depot,
no, not that, something was gonna come out of,
the letter.
that was the
house
letter, but it's, y'all already approved, if you approve this, I was just letting you know that
and they'll
money's
pull
going.
from those
Right.
proper places.
You've already approved the stencils on the House Bill 1,
Yeah.
but basically you approve this and what we actually pay out may be a little less, but it won't be
Yeah.
more, so I don't see you need to revise it.
Motion to approve.
All right, second. Motion and a second. All in favor, by aye? All opposed, no. Ayes have it. And I guess that brings us to the end.
I got a question. You mentioned the depot. Does that mean we're not spraying the depot anymore?
No, we haven't been.
And we got termites.
Well,
over there.
what they spray for monthly is not termites.
Yeah,
It's just regular bugs. The termite treatment, you do it yearly.
And they weren't doing that anyway. That's the problem I had with them. It was falling down when they walk in. They wasn't even
They wasn't even
mentioning.
telling
Yeah,
But who's doing the termite? We've got a company doing termite treatment.
we had Stark.
Stark, right. And a little update on that, we're still waiting on that second contractor to turn in a quote on that. I've talked to him several times, and he keeps saying, I'm going to, and hasn't yet, but as soon as we get that second quote for the depot, we'll be able to move forward with awarding that and getting it rolling. All right, need a motion to recess.
So done.
Until the next meeting. All in favor, by aye? Aye. All opposed, no. Ayes have it.